Agility, flexibility, quality and cost efficiency are qualities that many have in mind when talking about the cloud, but there are many options when it comes to what should go to the cloud. Choices must also be made about which cloud and which applications should be kept on-premise. In the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at the business aspects of cloud, multi-cloud and hybrid IT. We'll consider the business implications, focusing on cost, agility and flexibility. Let me welcome Martin Cawthorne, Jamie Gann, and joining us remotely is Lakshmi Kanthan, who support business organisations in mapping out the cloud and hybrid IT journey. Welcome both in studio and to Lakshmi, of course, virtually. Organisations face pressure, Martin, to satisfy constantly changing customer, business and regulatory requirements while tightly managing costs. How do these potentially conflicting factors influence the technology decisions that organisations have to make?
Well, today organisations are faced with a lot of tough technology decisions. The world's really reaching an inflection point at the moment where we're moving away from the old world to the new. Right now, our clients need to look at how they focus on adapting to that new world. As a background to this, what we hear a lot is how do I create the agility, resilience and sustainability my business needs against a cost-transparent platform so we understand how to move forward. I would say the question businesses should be asking themselves is slightly different. It's about how do I create that agility and sustainability my business needs to move forward against a backdrop of understood cost constraints. And that is what we're really helping our clients with today. So really focusing in on how do you drive agility? What's the foundation for that work? How do I deliver great quality to my end users? It's no longer acceptable to be good. You need to be the best to attract and maintain staff. How do I get that resilience there so my services are there when my clients need them? And sustainability is a big question facing everybody at the moment, and that becomes an intrinsic part of every transformation that we're doing now.
Jamie, let's start with that resilient foundations piece, adapting to changing business requirements while keeping applications and data securely hosted, integrated and managed. That sounds like a real challenge. What do organisations need to consider when building that foundation?
Right, so customers need to remember three things. The first is protection of their brand, reputation and, of course, their data. The second is connectivity of people, customers and systems. COVID, as an example, has changed the way in which people now work, so therefore they are more highly distributed, which creates complexity. And then thirdly, they need to consider resilience. Resilience has always been important from the perspective of reputation, but now with that sort of distributed networking of people and systems and customers, it's far more complicated than it used to be. So if I give you an example, we've got a customer, Lao, who they grew through acquisition of a number of companies, and that created complexity within their IT and sort of technical debt. They've come to us to look to help reduce that technical debt, to build a standard operating model on which we can move them to meet or ensure that they meet regulatory requirements from a security perspective moving forwards. So we started off with creating a consumption-based model for their transition period, which helped them not only meet their needs moving as they move through that transition, but also accelerate the work in which we were doing with them. We created a service desk using our social command centre service, which is an AI-driven service desk that supports their IT infrastructure through high levels of automation. We utilised multi-cloud orchestration to increase that level of automation across those 9 European data centres. And we created a managed service desk for their security that ensured they met their regulatory requirements.
Lakshmi, let's come to you now. When we look at use cases like Lowell, it becomes clear that every customer situation is different in terms of requirements and their cloud journey. What about organisations that want or need to integrate existing platforms or build on-premise private cloud services on dedicated hardware?
This is a very important question when we are discussing about cloud. Even though different enterprises are looking at deriving different values from what cloud has to offer, hybrid cloud is the model that 85% of the organizations are looking for. There is a reason why this is something that the customers are looking at. This can range from applications, security, governance, or ROA-related requirements. The foundation with cloud-like agility can be offered on-premise and still offer cloud-like benefits. This highlights the need for using an existing data center on-premise infrastructure to create or build on a hybrid environment, or even create a cloud-like solution for the customers by enabling them on-premise public or private cloud infrastructure on a dedicated hardware. For instance, Harbor Solutions, one of our customers, have been into data protection business, and they were looking forward to move into a data management market. For this, they needed a platform based on which they can move from the current operating model of managing a full-fledged data center to a consumption-based model through which they'll be able to provide solutions to their customers where they can deliver the resources to the data center and consume it like on a private or public cloud model. And they also wanted to make sure that they don't tie up the business with a heavy upfront capex cost. Fujitsu, with its consumption-based, flexible, and financial model, and with their hyperconverged infrastructure, provided solution to the Harbor Solutions through which they were able to expand their data center capacity to the changing needs of the data. And also, they were paying for whatever they are using on a monthly basis. This considerably brought down their initial capex cost and also helped them to move into an as-a-service model where they were able to pass on the cost benefits to their customers and also drastically increase their time to availability. With this service, Fujitsu was able to offer immense upfront cost benefits, simplicity, and scale. And in doing so, they were also able to implement the exact use case that they had in their mind.
Thanks very much, Lakshmi. Now, Martin, it sounds like this idea of a on-premise consumption-based IT infrastructure is of high interest for organisations that seek to tackle changing business requirements. Moving on to efficiency and agility, how can IT teams optimise their cloud or hybrid cloud approach to drive the agility and efficiency their organisation demands?
Again, it's a challenging market out there for businesses to operate in. The key start point for all successful transformations is understanding the outcomes the business is looking to gain at the start of the journey. Far too many businesses start these journeys with the principle of reaching cloud or reaching agility without looking really what they're trying to get for their businesses at the end of that journey. I would say start with looking at what your KPIs are so you know when you've succeeded, key performance indicators. Once you start on your journey, continually revisit those to understand how they are evolving over time. A transformation you start today, in 2 weeks' time, in 6 months' time, in 3 years' time is going to be different. Accept that change, embrace it, work with it. A prime example of these where we've worked with this sort of thing with Fujitsu is Baloise Insurances out in Luxembourg. So Baloise were looking for a 24/7 engagement model direct with their clients. It was a paradigm shift for them. Previously, they'd engaged their clients through brokers and sort of third-party engagement, and what they were moving to was a first-party direct engagement with them. So they brought in ourselves and Envision to take a look at how we could enable that journey for them. So we started by looking at the journeys their customers currently went on with them, how they would engage with Baloise. We redesigned those journeys inside our digital experience workshops, where we took Baloise on a route through understanding what they do today and how that could be transposed into the market of tomorrow. The outcome of that is that we created them a range of web portals and channels that they could engage their clients through, which enabled that journey to be taken end to end in a self-service manner over time. And at the same time, we looked at how we could bring automation to their business to reduce the costs to deliver the services they did. Overall, for the experience for the client, that means that they can now service themselves online quickly without the need to go through brokerage, etc. For Baloise, that ultimately meant that they got a reduced cost to serve their clients. Their clients were much happier in that they could service themselves as they were required. They moved over to a digital signature model to remove the requirement for wet signed documents to go through the post, and brought more automation into their business overall, effectively moving themselves right up to the front of that market and bringing themselves advantage on a day-to-day basis.
Jamie, it's clear that there are cost efficiencies and agility gains from this type of approach, but you mentioned earlier how the right approach to hybrid IT and cloud enables a business to create new value. Can you explain a little bit more about the additional value this can provide?
Yeah, these sort of transformational changes can be underpinned by the use of, say, cloud native technologies and sort of DevOps approaches, that sort of thing. And that allows the customer to become more agile, it allows them to adapt or to build applications and systems that can adapt to the changing needs of the market. And they really need to sort of embrace these sort of new, modern, agile DevOps approaches. An example of this is the work we've done with our customer, the Environment Agency. They run the flood warning systems within the UK, which is national critical infrastructure. And we help them move that onto public cloud. So they took the application, they moved it from on-premise infrastructure into public cloud, but at the same time they embraced decoupling it, moving the applications and the databases from open source or cloud native technologies. And this enabled them to distribute messages more quickly. It enabled them to create and update applications far quicker. So as improvements become available, their time to market's a lot quicker. We produced a streamlined user interface that supported multiple languages and therefore increased accuracy.
Thanks, Jamie. Now back to you, Martin. It seems that organisations can enjoy huge benefits from the right approach to cloud, multi-cloud and hybrid IT. But will this be enough to keep up with the pace of change in the future?
The technology market is always changing, never faster than it is today. To take full advantage of that, you really need a strategic partner for your transformation journey for the future to help you adopt technology at the right time in the adoption cycle, get in there before your competition to exploit it and drive you ahead of them. Fujitsu is helping our clients as well adopt more of the leading edge technologies, so moving through things such as quantum computing with our digital annealer, adopting ML and AI technologies, as well as things that are becoming more ubiquitous now in the market, such as blockchain. We're helping our clients develop maturity in these products and start to develop the advantage they need. Underneath all this is choosing the right cloud strategy, be it multi-cloud, hybrid or single cloud. That part of the journey is the key underpinnings for being able to exploit those other technologies. Ultimately, here at Fujitsu, we're here to help you start your journey to tomorrow.
Martin, Jamie, Lakshmi, thank you. I think that's about all we have time for, but if you'd like to know more about Fujitsu and how they can help you build that business value for your organisation, please contact your account manager or contact us using the details on the screen.